Stephen, what sort of inspired you to create this this whole film and the process involved? And you clearly had a vision going into it. So
yeah, I'd just come off making a more conventional film and wondered, is there another way of doing the basic task, which is to get an audience to engage with the screen for 90 minutes? And I'd seen a lot of footage, test footage of shot from moving vehicles on motorways and in cities, and I thought it was quite hypnotic and beautiful. So I thought, could that be the theatre, that moving image, and then put an actor in there and shoot a play effectively? And would that work? Would that sustain? And we didn't know until we showed it to an audience, and apparently it does.
And for that, you had to pick an actor that you could have in a car for 90 minutes. And
yeah.
What made you?
Wasn't scared of space.
Exactly.
Get me out!
What made you pick Tom and want Tom to do this role?
Well, sparing his blushes, I think if you're gonna have someone on the screen for 90 minutes, they better be good, and I think he's the best we've got. So he was the first choice, and I discussed it with him before writing it. So I wrote it sort of knowing that he would do it, and he's really pulled it off.
And what made you want to do this role and take on this challenge?
Well, Steve, and also having an artist like Steve want to roll his sleeves up and go and make a film in a very short space of time, which is a complex piece, but then not be precious with it and take a lot of risks in implementing its successful fruition. You know, really. But it was kind of like a shotgun wedding. You know, he had a script, he had an idea, and he had a couple of weeks, and he wanted to shoot it, and it's a big undertaking. So I wanted to be a part of that as well, and somebody who would take a risk with their work, and then also the assets of the actors and the ensemble and the production team that he assembled as well, and everybody was on the same palette. You know, and what became obstacles presented themselves as opportunities for solution in a purely creative environment where everybody was collaborating to do something which was other than the sort of slightly generic formula of movie making or film making today. Much more like a theatre environment. It was cobbled together, but at a very high standard already. So it would fail or succeed purely by the endeavour of the effort put in, and from the sums of the parts that made up the team. So all of that together was it was pretty non-missable. I didn't want to be not on that team, you know, because that doesn't happen that often. So all of that really.
And speaking of the team, you know, you had some great actors that are never seen on screen.
Yeah.
Tom, what was it like for you to work with them in that capacity and in those phone calls? And did you spend time with them beforehand? And then, Stephen, how did you get all those people on board?
Every actor that was involved was, you know, is a really good actor. So, and when you get actors together with a really good script, they go to work. They don't, you know, there's no ego. You just go to work, and when you have somebody in the room who knows exactly what they're doing, what they want, and the writer is in the room to not only watch you, but initially you've got to read the script for them and look for their approval. Like, was that awful? You know, do you like us? And once you pass that sort of, yeah, we like you, it's cool. People then start to file away what it is that they do in their own department, you know, whatever their character is. And that room we spent 5 days in the room together, which is a pretty standard rehearsal room environment where once people get over the meet and greet and the chemistry, they really bond, and they start to, it's like elves in there, you know, Christmas elves. They start making the toys, you know, in Father Christmas, as it were. You know what I mean? And Steve sort of sat there and went back and forth and put out the orders, and it became a sort of happy hive of creativity. And when you work again with people who literally do come to work and enjoy it, then you can start to play at a really nice standard, a really good level, and things start to grow and grow as you add on the filming and the DOP and the sound and editing right through to, you know, completion, even in the marketing. You know, this project drew out like talent from every aspect of film on something which is actually a very small and contained piece, which you know ultimately comes back down to script as well, and the influence of the, you know, largely of Steve, you know, having the ability to draw people in through his work and through his personality. So working with the actors was again symptomatic of the, you know, the beginning, which was ultimately Steve in the script, and everybody got on really well.
It was red wine, I think, that drew them to it, and biscuits, because that's all that they got. I mean, it's amazing that they are pretty much the best actors around in the UK, and they agreed to do this. They weren't going to be on screen. They were going to be in a not very nice conference room from 9 p.m. till 4 a.m. night after night, and they all agreed to do, and committed to the project. That was the thing. Everyone involved committed themselves to the idea and to the project, and it was, I mean, the result is amazing. It's fantastic.
It was an event as well. It's an event for artists. You get something like that.
Yeah.
So you want to be part of that. It's like you want to go to that party.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a kind of artist's party, but, you know, it's work. And you didn't want to miss that.
And it all came together incredibly well. Can you talk a little bit about the character of Ivan Locke and how you collaborated together, the details between the accent and what he's wearing and the job, how you guys collaborated together to sort of create this character?
I mean, I wanted to create the most ordinary person, someone that you wouldn't normally make a film about, and see the heroism within his decisions and his life. So he works in construction, he's married, he's got 2 kids, and he's made a mistake, an uncharacteristic mistake, and he decides to put it right. And the whole journey is about the consequences of that decision. Having written it, then when Tom really brought Ivan Locke to life and brought his physical and dialect reality to the table, and he's Welsh for a very weird reason.
Yeah. Subsequently, we found that in hindsight. But actually, no. The Ivan Locke is on the page. Is totally on the page, and everything that he says or people say about him or to him, it's very difficult to miss him instinctively, you know, to embody that guy. It would be nice to see other actors play him, to be honest, and see what they bring to him, because he's a very strong character and very easily approachable and accessible in many ways. So he's a pleasure to play. So a couple of choices that I made, which were. We needed, which were requested. That you know, obviously, he's a man who works from the floor up. He's worked in construction all his life, and now has become prominently successful at what he does. But he's worked from the floor up, so he's a working man. We needed to have a working man accent, but in the British Isles, you know, there's many regional accents, and a lot of them come with specific stereotypical baggage. So we had to sort of choose one, and everyone's going to come with some sort of history to it. But Wales, we thought, was seemingly, you know, ticked a lot of good boxes, because you know, you got a lot of solid men come out of Wales, and you know, that Richard Burton sort of mellifluous. Gentleness in the voice, as well as being strong, having a strong presence, would be something that would be nice to emulate, but also was, you know, based on the case file evidence, and it would make sense. And he was in Welsh, and so we zeroed in on that, and that being a nice voice, because, you know, the people at the end of the phone are hearing some pretty distressing stuff, and he's got to calm some and put out some fires. So it would be nice for him to have a voice which was at least soothing and gave off the you know, calm. So Welsh was what it was. So I tracked down a gentleman who I believed to be Welsh, who subsequently turns out to not be Welsh, so my ear is terrible. But that's so anybody who's questioning my Welsh accent is absolutely right, because I only found out a week ago that the man I based it on
He's not Welsh.
He's not Welsh. So, but it doesn't matter. Never let that get in the way of a good story or character. Next question.
Okay. And then, you know, making this film was such an insular process in how you guys did it. How has the response been now that you've actually been able to share it with other people?
Well, the great thing is that the response hasn't been about how the film was made. It hasn't been about, you know, this is a one man in a car, isn't that, you know, that it's a gimmick. The response when the lights go up at the end of the screen is very emotional. A lot of people are very moved by it, and they engage with the story and the character, and they sort of forget that, you know, that this is a different way of making a film. And a lot of people have said they forget that they haven't seen the other characters, because they make them up themselves in their own head. So people come to this and are, you know, requested to use their own imaginations, which I think people really enjoy.
And what kind of response have you been hearing?
No, my Welsh accent is dodgy.
In Wales.
It's not welcome in Wales anymore.
It's
not welcome in Wales, no. Sorry. So, no, do you know, I think Steve is absolutely right. Get over the first 6 minutes, and you're like when it's like reading the script. You're suddenly transformed transported, sorry, into the dynamic of the world of Ivan's world, and you're presented with his life, and very quickly the dynamics start to change. Before you know it, you are not really watching a film anymore. You're watching somebody's life fall apart, and it is interesting to hear people's reactions afterwards, that they either don't like him, or they go, you know, the girls are like, you idiot, or, you man have done this, that, and the other, or some people are like, I would take him back, and then this guy's like, oh my God, that was close to home.
Yes.
There's a lot of very human reactions to, and I kind of like the fact that it's not a thriller. There's no car chases or there's no explosions, because you don't need one, do you? It's not what I expected, and these are all very positive responses, because obviously people have been allowed to think. And I think we don't credit our audience with as much intelligence as they have, and then some, because and it's not, and it's not just a testament to Steve's writing and Steve's work in Locke, but I think also in everything going forward with work. I think people really do, there is a place for story, for good old story and real people talking, not just for the sake of talking, but like genuine life issues and drama. It's not boring.
Not at all. All right. Well, I thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.